Good morning. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle, and we're having coffee. Above the heart, it says brave, brave heart. Definitely, that's going to be an added bonus as we walk through these next several months and into the next few years. We are shifting, the world is shifting, and it seems clear, but what doesn't seem clear is how it's shifting and why. um, Many of us understand that the divine feminine is rising. We have been under the toxic masculine for centuries, where women, the feminine, have been oppressed and depressed and suppressed. We've had no voice, we've had no power, and that is shifting. And what happens when we make a shift like this, often in any aspect of our life, when we make a big change, is the scales shift to the opposite, where less than the divine feminine is comes into control. That's the theme of this one reading is about. We want to be aware of when we're fighting for our rights, and we do want to fight like a girl. That's the title of this, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But when we fight for our divine rights, we want to fight like a girl for our divine feminine. But what balances out the divine feminine is the divine masculine. Right now, we're somewhat in the focus of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We're just going to get rid of these toxic masculine. And while we don't want the toxic masculine in control anymore, we also don't want the toxic feminine coming in. And when the divine, gets so high and out of balance with the masculine, it does become toxic. Anything out of balance in our life is a toxic element. We want balance in every way, shape, or form. This is what Buddha taught, the middle way. We absolutely want that. And the theme today comes from the Wild Woman Rising. It is fight like a girl. And fighting like a girl is a very, very powerful energy because it begins in the heart space. When we are fighting for the underdog, the oppressed, that coming from that place of love, we want to hold that heart space in this fight that we're really entering into now. It is going to seem for the next few months, according to astrology, that we're losing, that toxic masculine has taken control, but it's very much a very hollow victory that's coming for a very short period of time, according to the astrology. And astrology has no emotion in it. It has only, this is what it is, this is how it's going to look. So the supporting cards for this fight like a girl is centering. First, from what is this? The Mythical Goddess Tarot, centering. And this is the fire. We need to be centered. And again, I mentioned balance. Anytime we are off on one side or the other, we are not comfortable within ourselves. We are out of balance. I forgot, I want to put the chats up here. There we go. So I can see them. Great morning, Susan. Good morning, Hasham. Julia, good morning. So finding that balance is really important. And keeping ourselves, because again, what we can do is manage our energy in this world, not everyone else's. We can't do anyone else's work. But when we share our energy and we have kept ourselves balanced and in a higher frequency, that's what we're sharing, and that's how we can influence the world. So lashing out in anger, although can be easily done at given times and certainly can seem justified. Years ago, the nurse practitioner I was working with taught me something very, very powerful, and I have referenced it throughout my nursing career and in family stuff, personal life, is what is the end game? What do I really want here? And what I want is a divine balance between the masculine and feminine. That means coming into that balance within myself, asking, where am I out of balance? and then working to release those things that are keeping me out of balance. And when you are open, willing, and ready to be guided, you will then get the understandings of what is the truth within you. What is the truth about your balance? Where are you holding on to something that is keeping you from finding that inner balance, that peace, that place where you dwell easily and in flow, where you're not in resistance, you're not in a battle all the time. The next one is mother perception of the seas. And she is looking into her scrying bowl, that bowl where she sees things. And this mother perception is you coming into a place of trust about what you receive. Is this, let me see if that's, no, this is it. I want to look at that book. Here we go. Mother perception is the seas. Looking into where you come out of balance. This is like the queen. Mother brings clarity with the gifts of psychic perception to see the beyond the limits of the third dimension. And in order to be in this place of perception, that divine perception, we have to stay in connection to it. That is what I'm open, willing, ready, guide me is about. You're not just putting that out to the universe, you're putting that out to Creator, to God, the universe, Buddha, the central sun, Allah, the great I am, whatever you call that higher power. Again, they do not care what you call them. It is that call. That is what prayer is. Prayer is not because God, the eternal, who made everything, that has all the wisdom, needs us or demands that we get on our knees to worship them. That is a human creation. That is an egoic creation. Creator of the universe, God, does not have ego. And so it is us in our energy, which is our spirit, partnering with them to create on this earth that fifth dimensional way of living, that higher vibratory living, that being in harmony with one another, because we are in harmony in ourselves. Like I've said many times, it all begins with you. It all starts with you. You can't do anyone else's work, so don't try. The next card that came up was the Empress. And the Empress is all about you in your divine connection, your power, your ability to see beyond. And when you stay connected and are living in that place of spirit, walking with your guides, angels, companions through this life, you get that little extra amount of awareness. You're pulled above situations and you get to see that observer role where you're not so involved in things that you can't see the whole picture or a little bit more of the picture. The more we walk in union with spirit, the more we can become the observer. We're less in the fray of our own life, and we can see more often how we might be pulling ourselves out of balance, where we are out of balance, and be given insights as to how to bring ourselves back into balance. The next card that came up is the Ancient Forest from the Native Spirit. And this is about you and your roots that go so deep into life, into history, into this world in all aspects, and the power that lies within you because of that ancient, deep wisdom that you have cultivated through the ages. Is it always at the topmost of our thoughts and our actions? No. But the more we desire to be in balance, to be in our divine energetic power, the more we live in the wisdom that is available to us and the awarenesses of when our reactivity is up front and foremost in the world. So in that ancient forest energy, we want to tap into our depths. That connection, that prayer is incredibly helpful. Walking in beauty. This is a multi message card because we want to continue to search for beauty in the world. And it really, really can start in the very tiny things. Yesterday, my 5-year-old granddaughter was here and we had such a fun day. And it started with her looking at her High Five magazine. And there was a nature wand that they had created with a stick and some flowers. And they had some little fake butterflies, which we didn't have, but we went out and gathered flowers and leaves, and she painted the leaves to look like the butterflies, and we glued them all on this stick. And in the searching of, you get to see through a child's eyes. And when you listen to what they have to say, there's great wisdom. It's the same with some of your simplest friends in the world. They will offer you some of the deepest wisdom available. And so when you're searching for beauty, you're going to see the beauty. And then we went up and we picked apples and pears in an abandoned property. They were, these properties were ordered to be abandoned many years ago because they're in a floodplain. So there's a few different types of apple trees, pear trees, and all kinds of really fun things in this area. And again, walking through the world, we found a praying mantis on my husband's neck as we got in the car. And so between my granddaughter and I, we held this beautiful little bug all the way to where we went, which was about a 25-minute ride. And she named her. And we passed her back and forth and we visited with her. And then we put her on one of the apple trees. Again, just that childhood innocence, the beauty of the world as we see it. And, I haven't even looked up the energy yet of the praying mantis, which I will do. But walking in beauty is that way to bring in more of that kind of thing within your realm, which again is what you're sharing with the world, and you're bringing it into the world. My husband, who's very much a realist, a down to earth, very concrete kind of negative kind of guy, got exposed to the joy of that delicious apple that she had, and the not quite ripe pear, the crunchy pear was her jam. She ate that whole thing, and we ate together a few of the apples and just shared in the simplest joy, the simplest beauty. And that's available to all of us in many different ways, in many different places. When you are open, willing, and ready, that beauty will appear to you, because that's what you're ready for, is to see more. Julia says, your words absolutely helped in how I managed through my daughter's wedding a week ago. Thank you. You are so welcome. It is in our immediate family that we can get some of the best practices of working to live in more joy and less angst and more harmony. And it can be some of the most challenging aspects because they know us better than anyone else. We've got lots of history in interaction, not always wonderful, not always easy. And so they will be some of our greatest teachers. So consider that where you might be out of balance in your relationships, open, willing, and ready to ideas to bring you in balance. And when you keep that flow open, it is huge in your walking, the shapeshifter. This is the last card for today. And this is that reminder, my eye is itching, that you can change into your best version of who you want to be. The shapeshifter shapes into their most authentic version at all times. We want to be in our power. We want to be in that divine energetic aspect. And oftentimes we're not. And we then have to shift shape and go back into our authentic version. We are going to be in and out of who we desire to be and who we many times are walking in the world. But in that walking in the world is often where we gain some of the greatest wisdom in the challenging times and the times when we have not behaved our best. That's the kind of thing that we want to be aware of and know and accepting of ourselves. Again, bringing ourselves back into balance, knowing that I don't always present as my most wonderful self. Sometimes I present as my very physical self, very judgmental self, very lacking in love and compassion self. But we really want to flow in love and in peace as we can. Valerie says the beauty of life is so amazing and a lot of it is free. Most of it is free. Surround yourself with good people and energy. Yeah, pull away from those that just bring you down. Tomorrow, I perform a wedding a little over 2 hours from my home in a beautiful outdoor space. And I'm looking forward to that 4 hours of being in my car, listening to the music I want to listen to, going into this very fun event in a different type of setting. Um, because for me, that's a little adventure. I haven't been to this area in a while. I used to work, we opened a hospice close to this area a few years back. And a lot of times we'd turn off at this area and go the back way into the town where the hospice was. And it was just such a treat to see different topographies, different landscapes, go in the slower aspect of moving into the other town instead of always being in this forced, gotta run, gotta get there, gotta work type of atmosphere. So as you choose to be in your higher power, as you shape shift into your goddess self, and that can mean for men as well, we want to remember that we staying in balance, bringing our divine feminine, and again, she can get very out of hand in the bringing her up. It's like when you start to learn the difference between assertion or learn to be assertive in your life, often we start with aggression because when we haven't been assertive, we don't know that feeling of the balance that assertiveness brings. And so we will often just kind of scream out our truth or yell out our truth at someone because we are not in harmony within ourselves with the feeling of what assertiveness is. Good morning, Shauna. I am serious about getting together. We really do need to connect. In fact, maybe I'll head up to your house at some point today and say hello. I have a break after about noon. So Shauna is one of my daughter's schoolmates. Her mother and I were in an organization and we just live up the street. And Shauna's moved back into the area. And I've been meaning to stop by and say hello, but I have not. At any rate, finding balance in the divine feminine, allowing that divine masculine in you to balance yourselves out is going to be key here. And again, it really is all about you. It is you managing your vibration, bringing yourself into that higher frequency as much as possible by shedding pure love and joy on everything for 30 seconds a day, getting to that heart swelling place first, and then shedding love. And being in gratitude, really recounting all that you have to be grateful for in life is a powerful way to walk through the world. Raises your vibration, meaning you're in a higher frequency, and that is what you're sharing in the world. So how can you manage you better? That's really what this divine feminine masculine message is about. We are working tirelessly and endlessly on ourselves. That is what this life is about. And when we choose to do that, we balance out those around us. We can't help the fact that we share energy with everyone. What we can change is the type of energy we're sharing out into the world. And that begins with us on a daily basis, practicing gratitude, shedding pure love and joy. And that one tool is so much more powerful than just raising your vibration. Wherever your intention is that love goes, that energy goes out to a person, to an event, to a thing, to the sagebrush, to Mother Earth, to the sky. I will often do it to jets that are going over, shed pure love and joy on everyone in that jet so that as they get where they're going, everything flows more smoothly with them and they're sharing a higher vibration. What they do with that is not my purview. It doesn't matter to me, but it will matter in your life on a regular basis that you practice that and practice gratitude. So be in charge of your energy as you move into this powerful weekend. I think we are complete for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle.